Oh my gosh.
So you brought a drink, but you did not bring a show sheet. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's 100%.
Mike,
where's the sheet?
How are we supposed to do a show without a show sheet that you were supposed to make?
We got to cut it off, dude. We have to do it another day.
We can't. We got to cancel the bar. We've got to cancel the open bar.
I really dropped the bar.
And then we lost them. Oh, hey.
Should we just come back tomorrow, J Mike, with Jake and JP and Kyle and
definitely not Mike. I know that much. Don't Mike.
Definitely not Mike.
Can't come back until your show sheets are right.
Like the teacher. I want you to do your homework before you take the test. So I'm not.
My dog ate it.
This guy, he gets it.
My dog ate the show sheet. The Google Drive.
There we go.
Google Drive. Wow.
No info show sheets right.
Wow.
Well. Wow. Whoa.
I think the first thing you should do in a show is like an introduction.
Hey, whoa, no show sheet guy. If you had your show sheet, we would know that. That was about to come up.
Are you trying to take over the show? What should we do? What should we do first, Mike?
We should, yeah.
Want me to intro the show?
That song? Yeah.
Gabe, I think we're on to something. We're on an open bar history here. Yep. Mike is actually going to narrate the show sheet as we go. This is gold.
This is gold.
Can you do it in a Morgan Freeman voice?
Chapter 1.
Who is that?
That was actually perfect.
McNamara? Was that?
That was perfect.
For his book that J Mike's about to give. He's going to go on Audible and read Jordan McNamara's Analytics of Dynasty, Chapter 1.
Call me Jordan.
Yeah, go back and listen to that episode. But for now, per Michael's request, I'm going to intro the show. We are, in fact, live. It's the open bar. It's Tuesday. It's 9:30 Eastern-ish. I mean, y'all got to just be getting used to coming in at around 9:45 and understanding that's about the time that I press that live button. Appreciate y'all being here. It's been a crazy spring break for your boy. Man, I just got so much time on my hands that I decided to do that whole fucking stupid fast food thing. And I wish I was back at school tomorrow. J Mike, how are you, my friend?
I saw that bracket that you put out. Let me just say this. First of all, I think that the Elite Eight is as it should be, or at least pretty close. I didn't look at a bunch of the stuff that happened beforehand, but you've got your Chipotle's, your Chick-fil-A's, your Five Guys. I saw Whataburger in there. It was a strong 8, very strong 8.
Raising Cane's, quite a bit of love. A 6
Raising
seed.
Cane's
as a 6 seed. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. It was interesting to watch it go by because it pretty much was just like the top ranked seed winning every time. So it wasn't as exciting as March Madness is, I think, but it's been fun. It's something to do while we have very little to talk about.
Can we run through that real quick with everybody here?
Yeah. What exactly is
all
that?
Right.
What?
So let's do it like this.
Okay.
You introduce the person, and then I'll ask them, and that person will choose who advances in this Elite Eight. Does that work?
Oh, okay. In the Elite Eight that we have going, yeah, sure.
Yes.
This is too much pressure. I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah, we'll get that out of the way. Well, how many we have? We have 4. So you're gonna have to decide one, J Mike. We'll kick it off with you. So welcome to the show, J Mike. Check.
Happy to be here. First time, long time. Hoo-ah. You know. So right now, if I've got to choose, I'm going to choose the matchup, the 1 seed on the No Sundays region. That's Chick-fil-A versus the number 3 seed for Subway. And I don't get down with Jared and his creepy child self-watching somebody. I don't do that. I don't care how much weight you lose. I don't care how much you keep off. I'm here for the Chick-fil-A No Sundays. Hashtag Jesus Chicken. Hashtag I'm blessed. Chicken. Chick-fil-A, 1 seed. Moving on to the final Final Four. Happy to be here. I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
Get soused. Get soused.
So Jay, Mike, it's so funny you mentioned Jared from Subway because this is the second time I've heard this today. The first time was someone asked me, he goes, "How much do you like kids on a scale of Casey Anthony to Jared?" And I was like,
no.
I was like, middle? That's an awful scale.
Middle?
It's one of those things that you laugh at and then you immediately like just understand that you're definitely going to whatever the bad place is before the laugh.
I felt so bad. Like I was taken way off guard by it. I was just like, man, like a sucker punch. And now you're talking about Jared again. I was like, man, this is a day. It's a day.
All right. Well, Tyler, since you have so much to say about your buddy old pal Jared, we'll introduce you sort of half first onto the show. Tyler Gee.
Yeah, I long time listener, first time caller.
Indeed.
Yes. And I'm gonna get me up with some Five Guys advancing over In and Out. Don't tell me that you don't like no Five Guys. If it was any better, they call it Six Guys. But they can't make it no better, so they call it Five Guys. And also a part of this is because I've never had Whataburger. I talked about this on the Twitter. I am well aware this is a sin, but I live in South Central Kentucky, and there's not one for like, I don't know how long. So that is not on me.
Hundreds of miles.
I'm not about to be like, what are you doing? We're rolling up, about to do a 4-hour trip to a Whataburger. Okay, I'm not doing that. Sorry.
Was that the closest one?
I don't know. I need to Google it. Let me just Google it.
They aren't only in Texas. I know that it's pretty much Texas, but there are some in the South. So the deep South.
So wait, just for clarification, you're going with Five Guys or In and Out?
I'm going with Five Guys.
Five Guys wins.
Five Guys.
See that again, as a Californian, I should be outraged here, just on principle alone. I really don't know how to feel. I've never had Whataburger, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but I feel like something is being said about my people, and I have to defend my people here.
What? Okay, so I just Googled it, and I'm looking for the closest Whataburger, and it just simply says there's not one within 100 miles. Not a strong start, boys.
Bias. So much bias.
So we probably shouldn't have. Well, we have to. Eitan, you already said you have not had Whataburger. I don't want to rely on Michael any more than we've had to already.
Oh my God.
The man didn't have a show sheet. How am I supposed to give
he has
you
no picture?
Right now his face is gone.
Crazy. Yeah.
Okay. Michael. All right. Well, welcome to the show, Michael. Never mind.
I am. Yeah, this is a crazy opening to the show by me.
By me.
Yeah, seriously. No show sheet, no camera, no audio. We're going great.
I think you're doing wonderfully. But did you hear my question?
No.
Okay. Well, let's try that one more time. I think that your last name seems like a fun name to say. What is it?
It is Zingone.
Oh.
A lot of people say Zingoni, and my dad also says Zingoni sometimes. My brother says Zingone sometimes.
I'm pretty sure if your dad says it, that's the way it's supposed to be pronounced.
Yeah. You would think
defying your father and your family name.
So it's Zimboni.
I know Zingoni, Pop.
Zimboni, like you clean the ice.
Yeah. That's
Zingoni.
Yep. Yeah, Zingoni works. I pretty much just roll with whatever someone says for like the first time. But yeah,
first time.
One must ask: have you ever been hit with the Zing one?
Zing one,
Ooh.
yeah.
Yep. No, you haven't.
Yeah, no. You are a teacher. Substitute teachers are the worst pronunciators of all time, and I have heard every pronunciation of my name in the book.
I am a bad pronunciator of names on first day of school. It's tough, man. So But yeah, I mean substitutes for sure because they just come through for the day and they they just try to come up with the most creative shit, much like the Key and Peele skit,
yeah,
which
just like
everyone, which is on everyone's mind at this point. But the Choosing one, I like that. That is easily my favorite. So, Michael, let's give you a chance to, first of all, introduce yourself one more time if you want to change it up for your father, or you can, keep it fresh. But also, we want you to choose. I don't know if you've heard what we're spitting down here, what we're laying down. Even though this is kind of your show sheet, I'm actually going to jump in for you and take this one for you. Who do you want to take between our Elite Eight in the bracket poll? We have what do we have left, J Mike? We have Whataburger versus Chipotle, or Wendy's
McDonald,
or Wendy's versus Raising Cane's. You can take either one of those matchups, but only one.
I got a pretty strong feeling about Raising Cane's, and so I really want them to advance to the Final Four. Wendy's, they're good, but realistically, they are not at the top of the food chain with regards to fast food restaurants. McDonald's, Burger King, all those places are far superior to Wendy's. And so realistically, I can't have Wendy's in my Final Four if those champions are not there. McDonald's already lost to Whataburger, so I don't think Wendy's can get there. And Raising Cane's, look, my mic, wow, my camera's back on. Look at that.
That's a ride.
Raising Cane's gods wanted me to. Oh, we're gone.
Got him, coach. He's back.
Yep. Okay, so Raising Cane's definitely super underrated. Their chicken fingers, oh my god, and their special sauce, just unbelievable. Definitely got to go with Raising Cane's again on the Final Four.
Okay. They got extra stingy with the sauce of late, though. No love for that.
Yo, we so part of my fraternity, we do brotherhood events, we do brotherhood dinners, and so we get Raising Cane's all the time, and we get literal soda cups filled with their sauce and get delivered it to us. It is absolutely unbelievable.
That's unreal.
Yeah,
that's nice.
They hook us up well.
Till my cup overfloweth. I like that.
Yep.
Just real quick, can we go back to something real quick that you said, and then Eitan, you can close out our Elite Eight here. You just said you were putting Wendy's in the backseat behind Burger King, behind McDonald's. Did you want a mulligan on that, or are you totally good with speaking such booty chatter on your first go around here at the open bar?
No, stand by that whole.
Okay.
Yeah. No, the 4 for 4 can.
Did you say booty chatter?
That is exactly what came out of Michael's mouth.
I think the bloggers J Mac gets too, so I think like it's real. It got real just now.
Zing one, yeah, that's a real Zing one move, is what that was.
Choosing one is spoken.
Oh dear God.
All right. Eitan, you have the last matchup to decide who will fill out the Final Four. Tread lightly, my friend, because
yes, sir. Let's see who's in this matchup. I mean, like, have I eaten at these places? Are these places on the West Coast, on the West Coast?
Probably eaten one of the two.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
All right,
you might actually hate it enough to pick the other one.
If my choices are between some random place and Chipotle, then of course I'm gonna have to go with Chipotle. I mean, it's so excellent. It's been made fun of on both South Park and Family Guy. I mean, that in itself tells you everything you need to know about the gloriousness of life that is Chipotle. So I don't even care about whoever's in the other matchup. In fact, I really don't know because I can't see the bracket for some reason because my computer's being stupid. But Chipotle, all the way, every time. The only mistake that they actually made was trying to do the whole cheese sauce thing.
Yeah,
that was a major fail. So I'll take that. I'll take that out. But if we can take that out of the equation, then Chipotle all the way.
But wait, Gabe, before you roast him, Gabe, let me just throw out in the chat.
It's not a roast. It's an exit. I'm holding the door open for him.
Zach reading the chat. What up, Zach? Zach hit you with Aton loves E. coli.
Heard it here first.
Hey man, you got to build them up and build them up strong. You got to get that.
Wait, are you implying that if you get Ebola, that just makes you stronger? Am I understanding?
And survive.
It's like a vaccine. Small doses.
I
small
don't think
doses
so.
Actually become immune.
Like when I'm looking at rookie prospects, I don't go, yeah, he's also had Ebola, so that makes him really interesting. Could go a whole round ahead.
Yeah, he survived Ebola, so I mean,
still here.
imagine what he can do after a torn ACL.
I mean, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And like you said, if you can stand up to Ebola, then you can stand up to a free blitzer every now and again. It's no big deal.
You can dodge a wrench. Whatever. If you can dodge a wrench.
So with that being said, our Final Four is set. And obviously, this is just our Final Four, but not so much for your actual voting that's going on, Gabe. So we've got Chipotle versus Chick-fil-A, which is that's a good enough game for like a championship. That's amazing. And then on the other side, we've got Five Guys versus Raising Cane's. That's pretty strong. That's a tasty Final Four.
I think at this point you just have to have a taste test. You can't just let your previous knowledge, your taste buds take control. Like you gotta lay all four of them out, and just have a real duke out.
This needs to be.
I like where this is headed.
Yeah, like an open bar where all of us, are rating it like we're tasting wine or whiskey. It has a bit of oakiness, but subtle blossoms of vanilla. And then you just go through all that, like an old leather book, but mapley.
The pages have been aged for about 4 years in a moldy room in a library near you. Yes.
I say this because I'm a big cigar smoker, and I'll look at cigar reviews, and they'll say stuff like that. They'll be like, "Oh, it has a taste of an old leather book," and I'm like, "What does that taste like? What are you doing around your house?" I'm pretty sure if my wife walked in on me licking a leather book, we would have a serious conversation.
I'm just surprised he would even want to have a conversation with you at that point.
Yeah, she might just walk out the room. She would just be the Lord has them now.
Leather books. Yeah. I can't. I'm picturing you walking around your study with a leather book and a cigar, and you're comparing the two, and you're yeah, this is
thinking about fantasy football. Yes.
Oh boy, J Mike. Well, welcome everyone to the show. I think we've finished the intro portion at this point. Michael, where are we headed next, pal?
Oof.
Just read it right off the sheet, man.
Yeah, right off the sheet.
How about
left to right?
Yeah, perfect. We got it. So football is a thing that exists, and it is the off season currently, but there are players that have yet to be signed. One of those, TJ Yeldon. Where are you, pal? Where is he? J Mike.
Still packing up his things in Jacksonville. He's almost ready to go. U-Haul's been ordered. It's on the way. And, just like the show, always on time, never late. He'll be finding somewhere soon. No, but for real, though, I am wildly shocked at a lot of the guys who have been signed to this point. Whereas Yeldon, who I feel like has showed well in spots, even in my somewhat Jaguar bias, I thought that he'd have a home by now. So this is I'm a little shocked. Color me shocked.
I mean, TJ Yeldon or Peyton Barber,
right?
Yeldon, easy.
TJ Yeldon, for me,
yeah, I mean.
Easily. But I mean, Tampa Bay is in salary cap hell, so they can't sign me tomorrow if they wanted to.
I thought
that's a lie. That's a lie. I would take $50,000 to go play with them, so they could absolutely sign me. But I mean, in reality,
Jones too.
I'd take $50.
I know. I mean, I don't know, because you also have to understand, if we're actually playing in a football game, that's going to be our last day on this planet Earth.
That's
so
true.
if you're gonna really get paid, like, you understand you're going to die.
Before then, I will draft myself in the first round. Don't think I won't. You ever pick yourself in fantasy football? Feel like a boss. 1-1 right off the board. Doesn't matter what's going on. Undrafted free agent.
No repercussions too, because you won't be around.
No, absolutely. No, I thought about the Raiders. I think them still having Marshawn, it just kind of made sense. And I mean, look at the pass catchers they got. I mean, but I mean, I haven't heard any news, and I feel like the Raiders have been making moves. And I feel like if that was somebody they were after to get, they would have gotten them by now. But
yeah, I think the Texans are also a really good spot that he could potentially go to. They haven't had a legit pass catching back in quite some time, probably since Arian Foster was there. I mean, Lamar Miller's okay, but you know, TJ Yeldon can go in there and win that job outright, I think, and without having to spend, you know, upper tier draft capital on someone. I think the Texans would be a really good spot.
All right. Before we go on this hating Lamar Miller trip, everybody poo-poos on Lamar Miller. Like, understand, Lamar Miller is running behind one of the most terrible offensive lines in the NFL, and he's been doing that for years. Like, he still puts up near mid RB2 seasons, at least mid RB2 seasons, year after year after year, on an offense that doesn't even necessarily like to run the ball that much. So let's not, you know, discount Lamar Miller so easily. I do think TJ Yeldon is more versatile than him. I think TJ Yeldon is a better pass catcher, like you said, but if you're already running 3 wide and you have Kiki Kuti to be that underneath guy, then why do you really want to kind of mess up that role with signing a guy who is going to operate in the same spaces on the field?
Yeah, I think
Deontay Foreman.
Yeah, Foreman's good. He's trying to recover from that Achilles injury, though. We don't really know.
He's a running back that tore his Achilles. He's dead. He's dead.
Yeah, pretty much done. Which is a shame because he showed some flashes. But yeah, I think Yeldon could really be a guy, like I said, to step in there. I think Lamar Miller, touches are definitely an indication of talent. And Lamar Miller has gotten touches consistently throughout his career and has been the clear RB1 on his team for quite some time now, which I think is a testament to how good he is. But I don't think he's been necessarily like as efficient in that role as someone else could potentially be. And I think the unknown of TJ Yeldon in that offense would be more appealing than the known of Lamar Miller.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. You just have to kind of put in the entire situation. For a running back especially, there's so many different factors that really kind of show you what's going on with the running back. I wouldn't say talent necessarily can display itself in less than ideal circumstances, and I really do think that's what he's been working with both in his time in Miami and on what was an expansion team at the time, the Texans.
Yeah, Lamar Miller is one of those players that you almost, if you have him, you really can't trade him because you just don't ever get the value that you get for the ability to usually plug and play him for a dynasty roster. And let me tell you, it's not an exciting play. I'm not excited, but it definitely is. You know, when you start talking about a 14-man superflex league and, you know, depth, I mean, you start looking at even at like the dynasty, you know, ADP, he's right in that comfortable range before you start getting into the hopes and dreams. I mean, it's like Jordan Howard, Royce Freeman, Lamar Miller. After that, you're getting to Matt Breida, Naheem Hines, Austin Eckler, Duke Johnson. You're looking at a lot of players that, I mean, could play for you, but they're not a starting role. He's right at that bottom of, hey, I'm a starting running back. I may not bust off for 30 points, but I won't. I'm playable. At least for me, and I never end up trading him because it just isn't worth the late round second that someone's willing to give me. No, I'll just keep Lamar Miller, I guess. We'll just
he seems to have been just edging his entire career and never actually like propelling into something that we care about. And
edging both ways, like not into something we care about, and then also just being irrelevant. Like we keep waiting for him to just be irrelevant, and he just doesn't. Yeah. He still is a decent little RB2 area, and we keep being like, oh, they're going to draft somebody else, and then they just don't, or they're going to sign somebody else, and they just don't, and we're just like, okay, well,
Yeah, what a weird last 4 or 5, 6 seasons. Like pretty much averaging like 200 rushes a year, like hovering around 1,000 rushing yards, and then somewhere between an average of like 5 or 6 touchdowns or so. Just like what that is like the epitome of a low your 18 to 24 RB monster, J Mike.
That is right in that wheelhouse. Yes. RB 18 to 24 monster. Look, but when you look at March ADP for DLF, if you look at this 18 to 24 group, I mean it's a pretty monstrous group. So Derrick Henry at 18, yeah. Marlon Mack, can I interest you in that? Little Josh Jacobs at 20, anybody? Little Philip Lindsay at 21. Devonta Freeman, whom I love still, 22. Damian Williams at 23.
Yeah,
Devonta Freeman, I completely agree.
Way too low.
That could be
so much risk. So much risk.
What's the risk?
I mean, but for the price, is it though?
Yeah, I mean that
I
might be
guess
the price.
if you factor price in, then yeah. But if you
I
take
always
that out of the
factor in
equation,
price, baby.
I mean, he could just as easily not play a game again. You know, we've seen it twice. So I think that's something to be said about that. And then also, I just think you need to look at the opportunity share between both Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman when Tevin Coleman was in Atlanta. Every year they wanted to give somebody more touches than they give Devonta Freeman. Pretty much since Tevin Coleman was drafted. If I forget the exact quote, but I wrote an article on this before the season even started. Their touches, at least their opportunity share, when you combine both targets and carries, was near equal the last time that we saw both of them play near a full season. So we were just talking about touches are equivalent to talent. If that's the case, well, that coaching staff clearly thought that he should be given less and less touches year in, year out. So what does that tell you about how they feel about him long term? Plus, he's going to most certainly be gone after the season just because his contract is going to be so easy to get out of after this year.
Yeah, they're going to be going for one of them 2020 backs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if that's the case, hold on. Even if that's the case, can we not poo-poo Freeman real? I mean, so I guess I don't understand the fact that, and again, I recognize that as time goes on in Dynasty, these guys fall by the wayside. Running backs aren't usually, we're not going to be watching their best years at 27, 28, 29. I hear you. I understand. This is a guy that we've watched be the RB1 overall, get a ton of work. I get it. And at running back 22, and by the time all these running back find their landing spots, I would imagine in May's ADP, Devonta Freeman will probably be even further down. So for a guy who's going to be probably off the board for a lot of folks, RB25-ish, to a guy who has the potential to give you an RB1 season for that low of a I don't understand how we can not be on board with that, specifically like you say, Guy, because I know that you're the price, you're Mr. Price. I get that. You come on here and we talk that all the time. Specifically for the price, I don't understand how we can poo-poo Freeman, specifically for this season. I understand if you want to get out, but for this season, I feel like it all lines up for him to be wildly relevant for the fantasy landscape. I'm just saying he's one of those guys you take right now as your RB2 or whatever in a league. And he's a guy who will fool around and win you the league with how versatile he is. And obviously, like you said, there's risk tied up into it. Eitan, I completely agree there. The concussions, the legs, all the good stuff. The man's been so incredibly good. I just don't understand how we can toss him in the trash. Go ahead, Tyler.
Can I talk about something that's really odd? While we were talking about it, I was interested. So, I can't remember a time really. It's been a while since we've seen Freeman without Tevin Coleman. There's been some injuries on both sides, but I just Googled it. I was doing a little research here, and the split on Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman. He has played 39 games splitting with Tevin Coleman. He had played 24 not splitting, so it was just him. So a good amount of set. I mean, really, I mean, when we talk about data, obviously more numbers the better, but that's still not, it's not like he played 3 games without him. 24 is a good number. He actually scores less PPR points. He scores 16.2 points when he's playing with Coleman. He scores only 11.7 with Coleman, which I think is really odd. More often than not, when you take away a thing, you just see a bell cow kind of emerge, and you see the opposite effect. I'd have to go back and do a lot more research as to like what those games were, and the circumstances. Was Freeman banged up too, and he was just kind of the less banged up person, so they just kind of ran him out there, and that affected his production. Like Tevin Coleman's out, and Freeman's kind of banged up, and they just kind of shoved him out in the field. I don't know, but it's kind of interesting. And I mean, I don't want to bring him up because he's been the dynasty darling on the show, but I mean, looking at ADP, you talk about how Freeman may never play again or play this year with all these injuries. He's 27 years old. Damian Williams is 26. And I mean, how is he not in the same boat of there's a chance that Damian Williams doesn't see the field? I know we want him to, but I mean, with Carlos Hyde, I mean, rewind, and I forget who posted this. I think it was Mike Tagliere. Was like, rewind a year ago. If Carlos Hyde signed with Kansas City, who do you think would be the main running back?
I saw that post with Mike Tagliere. If Damian Williams and Carlos Hyde were looked at, if they actually had an equal opportunity, then I think you actually have something to say there. But Damian Williams was a backup. I don't even know if he was on the Chiefs. He might have been on the Dolphins at that time. Like, what are we talking about? That's comparing apples to oranges in the worst way.
Well, we're always comparing apples and oranges. I mean, I wrote a article on DLF about Jerick McKinnon versus Tevin Coleman, because they went right next to each other in ADP. Now, this was prior to him getting signed. I had no idea they were going to sign Tevin Coleman to the Niners. Yeah, you better know. Anyways, sorry, my fat butt just got distracted by tag-alongs. But in one of the comments, on the article, and I agreed with what the guy was reading. He said, you're really not like Jerick McKinnon was on a worse team, worse offensive line, less scoring opportunities. The Falcons had more. This is all like not a factor in your paper. I feel like all of this is skewed and a bit biased. And I'm like, I understand everything you're saying, but how am I supposed to, as somebody who values numbers and statistics, compare to things that are, but I mean, at the end of the day, we are comparing apples and oranges. I've never seen Tevin Coleman play on the same field as Jerick McKinnon. I will this year, maybe, but I have never seen that before. So, yes, I have to compare apples and oranges. I mean, that's unfortunately, I mean, I don't have a pro day, little two-hand touch with Tevin Coleman and Jerick McKinnon to figure out who I like better. When that's not the situation. And the same thing with Damian Williams and Devonta Freeman, the person I was comparing. I've never seen them play. Yes, they're on different offenses with different coaches, with different schemes, with different offensive lines, with different quarterbacks. So what am I supposed to do? Just throw my hand? No, just pick one randomly. I mean, I can't. I'm going to try to do the best analysis with what I can.
Man, why can't fruit be compared?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, really, what compares to a pear? JK, LOL. Pears are not the best. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Pears aren't.
Tomato?
Are we about to have a fruit draft right now, J Mike?
Yeah,
Oh, yes. Yes.
The fruit bracket.
Yes. No. Just straight up draft. Let's look at this.
Grapes 101.
Nope.
Hey,
Nope.
Bill.
You're not 101. Actually, Aton, according to this video feed on YouTube, you're the 105.
Question: are pickles a fruit? No, they're a vegetable. What is it?
Is this what we're gonna do? Is that really what we're gonna do, Guy?
All right, I'm out.
Listen, no. You know what?
I'll Google.
Excuse me. No. Excuse me. Who am I to tell the Buffalo Bills who to draft? That's not my place.
What's in the show sheet? I'm just reading off the show sheet here about are pickles a fruit or vegetable?
This is true. I put that in there.
Michael, can you please narrate? Because again, that's your job since you didn't write it down or type it of any sort. Can you narrate that we're about to have this fruit draft right here? Is that okay? Can you do that?
Yeah. Let's do it. Now on the Open Bar Pod, the fruit draft, where J Mike, Aton, Tyler, Zinger, and FF Man Bun. Because I like that at sign.
Keep going. Add a little commentary. I like it.
We'll do a 2-round mock draft on which fruit they will take. Fixed format, not snake.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I was
Okay.
debating throwing auction in the snake draft and giving us but
John Bosch is somewhere smiling right now. As soon as you said auction, he just
This is going to be on the next show. This is going to be on the next game show for sure.
Monopoly money right up the screen.
Okay, making it rain. And I'm picking it all back up when I'm done too. All right. Here's the screen here. So Tyler as the 101 according to the YouTube chat here. The Zing one at 102. I'm at 103. Gabe's at 104. Aton bringing up the rear. And sorry, because the Zing one said we're not snaking this.
Nope.
Sorry about your luck. SBYL. Partner.
Well, I mean, I'm trading. I have to trade up.
So
all right, step into my office, man. What you got?
Let's not get specific with like the type of apple that you like between Fuji
Granny
apple
Smith,
and Granny
Fuji
Smith. Like
apple.
don't do that. Just like say the fruit, okay?
Okay. All right.
We can have an apple draft another day, but this is
all right. I mean, that's where I'm going, man. You know, when you can have a fruit and you can make a pie out of it, when you can just have it with some caramel dip, you know what I'm saying? When it's spitting that mean love to you, you got to go apples, man. I'm sorry, maybe it's a teacher in me. They just call out, but
they call
me. An apple a day keeps that doctor away. What's your fruit doing for you? You know what I'm saying? So
got
that's
that
me.
natural
101.
caffeine.
Yeah,
Got the
boy.
natural caffeine to it.
There's different kinds of them. You get Fiji. Oh yeah, boy, just like that. We got all kinds of varieties.
I need the
Should
caramel
be a
apples again, man.
slogan.
That's
What's
good.
How many
your
varieties
fruit
of grapes
for
you got? What? Green and purple? Woo. We got like all kinds of different flavors, boy.
Hey man,
Come
we
on
accept
over.
all the different flavors of the world.
You only got 2. We got tons.
Y'all ever sprinkled a little salt on your apples?
Yeah, boy. That's all. All right, I'm done. I'm going to get a good.
You teachers.
I'll finish it up. Yeah, Gabe knows what it's about.
The Zing one at 102.
Let's go with the bougie West Coast fruit, the avocado. At 102.
Wow.
Mad bougie, you're right.
Yeah, mad bougie. Yo, I like that.
I think I now know for a fact I'm not the youngest person in the chat for the first time ever, and it feels good.
Walk is extra. Walk is extra. That burned 2 of your picks right there. Everybody knows avocados.
No, but walk is not extra because Qdoba is by far and away, in my opinion, the best because they let you get anything you want in your burrito bowls, all for the same price.
You feel like that baller status when you go walk is extra, and you're like, hit me with it. Don't matter. I know.
It don't matter.
Throw 2 scoops. All right, J-Mac, what you got?
I'm at the 103, and in the chat, shout out to everybody in the chat. It's lit all the way up. Gunther is about to go back to work. Keep saving those lives, Top Gunth. So Bobby Koch hit us with something that I wouldn't have even thought of, but I also am not in favor of. I'm just curious before I make my pick, what you guys think. Bobby Koch hit us with a 101 of coconut.
No.
It's not versatile enough.
Exactly. Like in certain circumstances, then yeah, but you can't put it on everything.
Like if you're going to take a coconut off the shelf at the supermarket, like you're going to really not want that coconut the moment you get home. You're going to wish that you had an apple, that you could take it onto a cutting board, that you could slice it up, you could sprinkle some salt on it, you could do some caramel, you can do your peanut butter, whatever you want to do with it. But with the coconut, you don't even know where to start. There's no way.
You have a plan. Like you have to go to the store and be like, okay, well today I'm going to do this with this coconut. I'm going to make coconut cream pie or make like curry or something. You have to know what you're doing the moment that you buy that coconut.
Yeah, you can't.
Ain't no one goes and buys a coconut. Come on.
It's a serious relationship when you buy a coconut. You can't just have some floozy coconut. You're just going to grab it and just be like, oh, let's make something out of this one day. No. You got to come with a ring, son. You got to come with talking to the father. You got to get permission.
Yeah.
It's a coconut.
Now, for what it's worth, he just ran off a string of things here in the Gabe. He said coconut chunks, Gabe. Coconut chunks. Pina coladas, baked goods, He's trying to go in for his 101. Thoughts?
Bobby, are you telling me that you literally have purchased coconuts, like several in the past, and like broke them open, did whatever you do with them with the chunks? I don't know, like that thing.
Gabe, this is a troll job, and Zach just outed him. Zach says this is his back door to Samoa's. He tried to.
Oh shit!
Oh,
you know, I was gonna say the shavings. I was gonna say the shavings, but my favorite cake is German chocolate cake. So I fuck with that, but not with the Samoas. That combination's not very good. But
all right,
nice try, Gabi.
Yeah, good try, Gabi.
Almost got us. Almost got
sneaky sneakster, you. 103. Very thankful to be getting my 101. This is like taking Tom Brady at 101. This is the clearest pick for me of all time, probably in all of the drafts that we've had. Pineapple, fresh pineapple, not out of the can, but straight from after you've cut that mug up yourself. Pineapple is my 101, taking here at 103.
I actually have an interesting story about pineapple. So, my dad, I guess his family in Nigeria had just a number of pineapple plantations. And so my dad would work on these pineapple plantations and, grow all of them, have them all lined up. And I don't know, maybe he overate them, ate too many of them. But like now the man just cannot even stand to look at them. And I look at him horrified because I don't understand what happened in his life, what traumatic experience. I don't know where the pineapples hurt him. He has to show me where on himself the pineapples hurt him because I don't get it. I don't understand.
I mean, Bobby's talking about how much like he likes pineapple and coconut. This guy's just tropical. He's about it.
Yeah,
he's exotic.
Yeah,
exotic. I like it.
Exotic.
Right, Gabe, what do you got, brother? What do you got?
Am I up?
Yeah.
104.
Am I 104? Am I 104?
That's you.
I'm gonna have to take a berry of sorts at this point. It's okay to diversify the berries, right? Like if I just say yes. Okay, cool. Because I feel like that's a different conversation than the apple.
Oh, there's a much different. There's much different.
Right. Blueberries. Blueberries. I like
antioxidant.
Yeah, man. I really like blueberries. They're great on their own. You can throw them in some yogurt. They're very, very simple to eat. Little wash if you're into that thing. Blueberry pie is really good. Antioxidants, J Mike. I mean, what's better at this point? You get to call them bloobs, and that just sounds funny. So
yeah.
Mix them with some acai. Acai. I don't even know how to say that name. I don't know what that is.
But it's good though. Basically, without trying to share a super long story, a guy who's basically like a father figure to me, very much. His wife she allowed me to name this pie that she made, which was just one of the most wonderful pies I've ever tasted in my entire life. It was a combination of blackberries and blueberry pie, and she's got like some just awesome like sugar crumble on top, and aptly I named it Navy Berry Pie. So it's super strong, Gabe. Super strong pick there with blueberries. To close us out for round one, Aton, Mr. Mosier.
I love grapes. I do. And I was going to go on this long diatribe about grapes, but I was expecting this one to be picked before then. But I don't understand how anybody even grew up without having some citrus in their life. So orange is number one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, I feel like cuties brought us all up together. I don't know if we'd even be here. I don't know if I'd be here personally without.
You wouldn't have gotten through that Ebola without some vitamin 100%. C, bro.
Yeah.
Aton, do you have a take between oranges, clementines, all of the sort?
You know what? I want them all. I don't discriminate. I love them all the same.
Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't go with orange, J Mike, just because the old fashioned is the greatest cocktail of all time. And you know, you need the orange peel in there. So sorry, oranges. Sorry.
No snake here, as the Zing one has declared. Back to the top, Tyler Gee with 201.
Man, this is rough. I mean, you talking about some big hitters still up there. You know, you got bananas, you got grapes, and let's not even forget about lemons.
I know.
You let's not. Maybe you can't eat it by itself, but you know how much lemon adds to things. But I think just stay with my apples. I gotta go apples and bananas, baby. I'm gonna go some bananas. I don't care. I'll eat apples and bananas, man. That's me. I'm going old school.
Eat apples and bananas. I like to eat apples and bananas.
Yeah, baby.
That's our new opening, by the way. We're changing.
I mean, I was tempted by strawberries. I was tempted by lemons too. I mean, there was some good. It is almost bad to go like 1-1 because in a non-snake in this, and in some ways, because there's some good hitters left. That was tough. So I'm passing it. Mike, it's all you.
Yeah.
202.
202. Okay. You know, I've seen this mentioned in the chat a couple times, and I think I'm gonna please my boy PA Howdy with this one and take tomatoes. At
no! Log off.
202. Log off. Yeah.
That's a reach. It's quite a reach. That's several tiers.
No.
That's a Zingoni pick, not a Zingone or a Zing one.
So versatile. You can put it on sandwiches. You can put it in salads, on burgers.
You can put it in a fruit salad.
Yeah.
I do want to educate the people that tomatoes are in fact fruit scientifically, but chefs consider them vegetables, considering just how they are used in the food world. So, little tidbit for everyone out there. Thanks for coming on to the open bar.
So even for all of the versatility, I mean, let's look in the history of the NFL. Joshua Cribbs, wildly versatile. Devin Hester,
Amir Abdullah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Amir Abdullah.
Look, I didn't even with tomatoes. I didn't even mention that I am full-blood Italian here. You gotta.
That's what I was saying. I said that was a Zingoni pick, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Zingoni pick.
With the last name like Zingoni, you didn't have to mention it. We knew.
It's true. It was an unspoken bias.
I'm just gonna say you probably could have signed him off the waivers, but you know what? Go like Har said in the chat. Go get your guy. Go.
Oh yeah, you got to. You got to get your guy. So who's your guy? Hey, Mike.
Speaking of going to get your guy, real quick, one of the funnier things that I've seen on Twitter, D-Bro, friend of the pod. What up, D-Bro? D-Bro hit us with a tweet earlier today. He said, okay, so Malcolm Brown getting an offer sheet before TJ Yeldon gets a contract offer. And he said it in ellipsis after that. He says, radio silence on Yeldon has been very interesting and disappointing, which I have to throw that back out there because Malcolm Brown definitely got an offer sheet today, which was, I don't even know. I don't know. Anywho, 203. It can no longer be held back. It's been said in the chat several times, and this is wildly strong. Some people will probably break out in hives if you pick them. However, it's as strong of a fruit as there is. Going with strawberries.
Yep.
Strawberries. Talk about versatility. As standalone, you can have them with ice cream as a topping. You can have them as part of just about anything that you could choose to do. You can dip them in your local fruit dip. I'm just gonna say strawberries are just a win all the way around.
Yogurt, great in yogurt.
Unless you're allergic.
Buying that fruit dip?
Oh, well, that would do it.
Game 204. What'd you say, Ethan?
Where are we buying that fruit dip? Where do you get that? Where do you commandeer the fruit dip?
You've never seen a fruit dip? Like it's similar to a veggie tray, but it's got various fruits and it's like almost like a yogurt type of substance.
Yeah.
But they literally call it a fruit dip. Yeah, it's bomb.
I just realized that Michael picked avocado and tomato.
Oh yeah, there we go.
What are you doing here, bro?
You got to get your guys.
And I'm over here, just basic white girl. Apples and bananas.
Yeah, I'll take the apples and bananas.
Somebody in the chat, I can't remember who. Somebody said that avocados was the DK Metcalf of fruit. No versatility. But strong.
It's really fast on straight line.
No one ever heard of him until, I don't know, just a little bit ago.
Oh my god. It's overshined by everybody else that's in the sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Comes on strong, doesn't it?
Y'all pissing Jake off.
Some people just love him. Some people just hate him. Get that avocado off my sandwich. What is that?
Strong. That is strong.
Now you need to make a T-shirt that's just a picture of DK or like a picture of an avocado with like an 8-pack and just ripped, and it's just like DK avocado. I'd buy it.
RotoWare is going to have that out tomorrow. We know it.
It's true.
We know what it means.
That is good. That's a good comp though. Like if he's gonna be a fruit, he's the avocado.
High upside, high upside.
I think we broke J Mike. Like
that's the laugh my soul's needed all day long. Oh man. Zing one hit us with a high ups.
all I can picture Zing going through like, I don't know, like Chipotle and just being like, yeah, can I get some avocado? And they're like, yeah, high upside. Yeah, high upside for this meal.
Oh yeah. Really turn your bowl around.
All right, Gabe. 204, man.
I feel like I've done. I mean, Eitan reminded me by saying oranges. I feel like I've done my cocktail game wrong by not saying some sort of fruit that is involved in cocktails. So, the only thing that I hate about the fruit in these two fruits in general is that key lime pie is trash. Lemon meringue pie is trash, and I can't deal with those things in terms of baked goods, like lemon bars or whatever y'all are trying to do with baked goods. Just leave the citrus out of it, okay? But I will say lemons, I think, more than limes is just, and this is like mostly a cocktail thing, and that's pretty much. Oh, and I was going to say, you reminded me that Guy, you said you can't really eat lemons. Very true. But everyone listening and y'all watching with us and you four hanging with me right now, go and get these pills. They're called M-berry. Just the letter M and then berry. They're supposed to be these like miracle berries, and they if you take one, and it's they're not like drugs or anything here. These are like you can literally get them on Amazon. They're like literally called Miracle Berry.
All your students are sitting here taking notes. Okay, so I meet Carlos on the corner of 5th and 7th. Okay, all right.
So they're little tablets.
$30 cash. Okay.
Compressed into this little pill.
Okay.
You let it dissolve, and then you just let it take over, man.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, but I'm serious. You can once it's gone, you bite into a lemon and it's sweet. It tastes like lemonade. You do the Granny Smith apple. It now tastes like Red Delicious. Like it goes from sour
it messes with your like taste buds or something like that.
Yeah.
I've seen something like that. I will say the weirdest thing I saw with lemons. I used to work at a Japanese restaurant as a server, and the Japanese chefs there used to all the time take a lemon and they filled it up with soy sauce and just ate it like that. Just sucked the soy sauce and lemon juice out of it all the time, and it was the grossest thing I've ever seen. And they used to just keep on being like, "Shut up, white boy! You don't know about this." And I was like, "All right, I'll try it." And it tasted exactly the way it sounds. Freaking gross! It was the grossest thing. Like, I swear I almost vomited because it was just like salt and lemon. Like, that's all it. I can't. It was gross.
Did you try it?
There they are.
Did you try it?
Not the M berries, not your drugs. I've tried the lemon.
You haven't tried my drugs.
I'm not.
I mean, we're not gonna act like that.
Spice. I'm not trying any of that. But
come on, man, try these miracle fruit tablets.
Start slinging it.
He's like a used car salesman, and like, hey, just tell me what the M stands for, dude. It's gonna be great. Just try it. No, can you just tell me what the M stands for? Dude,
snozberries taste like snozberries, bruh.
Change your life.
Oh.
Okay, okay, seriously, if you don't tell me what the M stands for, I'm leaving. Okay, dude, it's for Molly. Okay, like Molly's. Okay, Molly berry.
Molly. Oh man.
Also, lemon on fried food, great as well.
You like fish?
Yep.
All right. Last but not least, Mr. Mosier, closing this out.
All right. I guess we're gonna wrap this up. I would. This kind of pushes this up to the forefront. I mean, this is probably going to be an unpopular selection. I have disdain for bananas. I can't stand bananas myself. But the cousin of the banana, the plantain, we're boys. All right, the plantain is where it's at. You take those, you fry them, put a little bit of powdered sugar on them. They're the best thing that you can have in life. So I encourage everybody that's listening to this to go do that immediately. I love plantains. Plantains 205 all the way.
Yep. Go to your nearest Cuban restaurant and have anything that they can make with plantains because, oh my God, so good.
And what do the plantains taste like when you're on the M berries?
Oh,
like apples,
baby,
or oranges.
I like to.
The first person that probably ate those M berries was probably not okay for the next couple of days. Like, he was probably sitting there like, did I just dream that? Or like,
I'm on M berries right now, man.
I can only drink beer when I'm on M berries.
Zinger, have you ever had a plantain? Because I've never had a plantain.
Yeah, on in burritos, plantain chips.
There's Qdoba.
Yeah.
As long as it's got avocado on it, it's good.
There's avocado.
I got avocado. I got plantains. I got the little tortilla chips. I got the salsa verde. Everything. Put it all on there.
I've never had a plantain there. We'll join together.
You're missing out, man. You're missing out. I'm telling you.
Tostones are the little chips.
The thing that you do is the first you take the M-berry, and then once you're all M-berried up, then you go.
Yeah. Now you guys get it, man.
Why you sound like McConaughey? Why you sound like McConaughey from Dazed and Confused or whatever?
It'd be really cool if you did, man.
The cool thing about M-berry, man.
The more the taste change, the packaging stays the same.
So now, wait, if I have M-berries, what does DK become? Like Harry? Is that what happens? Like if I have some M-berries,
Tyreek Hill.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, y'all want us to say what M stands for. What about the DK? Come on.
Donkey Kong?
Notable UDFAs, real quick. Things that have not been said. Mangoes. Mango fans? No? Okay.
Oh, definitely. Okay. Mangoes are up there on the list. If I had a third round, I might have pushed plantains to the third to get mangoes in the second.
You didn't even take grapes. You said grapes were 101 and then you never took them.
I love so many fruits. I have so many loves I can't choose.
Bruh, I'll tell you right now, I'm 100% taking grapes if we go to round 3.
We're not. We've lost all of our viewers. We have
I'm well aware. Any fruit that you can turn into an alcoholic beverage has to be part of the crew.
That's true. That is fair. That's a good point.
So, and Spoonie, what up, Spoonie? Spoonie hits us with a few in the chat here. Nobody went with watermelon. Yep.
I'm a big watermelon guy.
What'd you say, Mike?
I'm a big watermelon guy. I might have taken that.
Nice.
I probably could have gone cherries. Cherry pie is probably the best pie on the planet.
Oh, we'll have to have a pie draft soon.
Yeah.
But,
J Mike, what was your first one? Something in strawberry?
UDFA? Oh, you mean I had pineapples and then I went strawberries.
Pineapples, that's it.
Yeah. Mangoes were not chosen. Mangoes are strong. Grapefruit. Golly, you sprinkle some sugar on grapefruit. Cut that boy in half.
You gotta have the grapefruit spoon, man.
Fact.
Sharp
Nobody
edges.
said kiwi.
My life has just changed right now. There's an actual device to make it easier to eat grapefruits.
Bro, grapefruit spoon. Don't bring it to bed, but yeah, grapefruit spoon.
Wait,
see, like my entire life has been spent breaking it in half or cutting it in half in some way, and then just using the spoon to like slowly scrape everything off. That's how I live my life. And I feel like so many things could happen. So many things could have been better in my life had I known.
Is he ready for this pod? I mean, like, I thought there was like some kind of tryouts or something. Like,
what did you think when you saw the show sheet?
Yeah, I mean, there was a very rigorous selection process, or at least I was understood. But I mean, we got people out here like a peasant just taking pieces of wood and just eating their mangoes just by the hand. Just
hey, honey, go grab that switch off that tree and help me get this grapefruit taken care of.
Open this grapefruit by banging it against the floor.
It hurts. Like I feel lied to by my mom. Like she could have told me this years ago. We just never got to. Oh man.
Sorry, a couple others here. Like I said, kiwi. The fact that we didn't say kiwi kind of blows my mind. I love kiwis. Raspberries.
Kind of annoying to eat though.
Kiwis? Yeah, they are.
That's furry fruit. Like there has to be something to be said about that. Like it's just
you can't eat that. You can't eat that.
But they're delicious though. Gabe, your star from either last episode or 2 episodes ago, passion fruit from Fat Tuesday.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
you know how hard it is to find that shit. How can that be on any list if you can't even get it in the first place, man?
And plums. I'm a huge plum fan. We didn't say anything about plums. Yeah. Any others that you guys can think of off the top of your head?
Plums are not good, J Mike.
Whatever, man.
You mentioned dates? Anybody like dates?
Never had one.
Really? No. They're like
I do you can do some like almonds inside of a date wrapped in bacon. Those are good. But that's about it for dates. Otherwise trash.
That's mostly the
you can make pies. You can make pies out of them. They're delicious. What? Date pies.
Wow.
You'll be Peter for days, man. There's so much fiber in that.
Peter Howard in the clutch here. Another common one. How about that Georgia peach?
Yeah, peaches, all right.
Peaches, for sure. All right, are we going to talk about football today?
Yeah, what just happened? How long did we just do that for?
All right.
I don't know. It was fun though. Or at least I enjoyed it. Can't speak for everyone.
Yeah.
All right. So if DK is let's say avocado, let me just pick another random person as I scroll through here. What is Jerick McKinnon now?
Trick knee McKinnon.
Very interesting. I'll start with that.
And he's been sending out like little Da Vinci Code stuff as his Twitter. Like he's been sending out, yo, sometimes it be orange, and you're like, what? What does that mean? Like
he's really
maybe that's what kind of fruit he's just trying to tell you what fruit he is.
No,
he was on the M-berries at the time. I mean, you can't really trust people on M-berries as they're tweeting.
That's true. Do not tweet an M-berry.
That's true. No, but with, I mean, seriously, when we just talked about Yeldon not being signed, the 49ers have what, 5 running backs under contract right now, at least.
It's actually a really shitty situation. I just actually came out with an article on this specific topic today. All 3 of those guys are carbon copies of of another when you actually look at their skills as running backs.
Wait. When you say three guys, do you mean Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson Jr., and Matt Breida, or do you mean?
I'm pretending that Mostert and Jeff Wilson don't exist in this life that I'm creating here. So I'm talking about Breida, I'm talking about Coleman, I'm talking about McKinnon. So all three of these guys had a success rate that was between negative 1.5 and negative 2.5 last season. All three, well, I mean, obviously not McKinnon, but in his 2017 season, it was still in the same range. All three of these guys don't evade tackles. They were all 20th or lower in evaded tackles. So they don't really make much for themselves after their blocking. And all three of these guys are primarily suited to run the zone scheme that Shanahan runs. So I just don't know how you have all three of them on the same team, because you can't necessarily say, okay, well, this guy's role is going to be the banger, this guy's going to be the goal line back, this guy's going to be the pass catcher, because they all do that, and they all do that as good as one another. The problem is Jerick McKinnon, his contract is the only albatross contract. Tevin Coleman, I think, signed for 2 years, $12 million, so that's pretty much below average in terms of what you're getting as a running back. Matt Breida, I think he signed for like $650K. Jerick McKinnon is the only person that they could potentially save money on, and they probably don't even necessarily need to do that because they have $40 million left in cap space. So I just don't know what's going on here. I feel like the only reason that all three of these guys are on the same team is because Shanahan just fully expects one of them to go down for the year before the season starts. And then maybe at that point, you have a backup for when inevitably one of either McKinnon or Breida goes down. So they signed three clones to do the same job.
Well, I think Shanahan knows he can make it work no matter what with whomever's in the backfield. I mean, he kind of proved that last year, but I'd imagine he would like to see if he has a Devontae Freeman. I think that's just much easier to have a Devontae Freeman than it is to have, 6 guys that come in and out each and every week.
Yeah. And I mean, it sucks for like fantasy owners like us, but for real life NFL stuff, he's got 3 guys, like you said, that can do similar things. He can bring on and off the field at any time. And all 3 guys like are best in complementary roles. You've seen all 3 perform as kind of a lead back at some point. And I think, I don't have the stats on the top of my head, but just remembering, probably Breida has been consistently the best if given a full workload. But he's also a smaller back. So you don't have a guy in there that's going to command 250 carries and 50 catches in a season. But that's not what we should expect from any of them. And that's not what I'm saying that you are expecting. But, at the end of the day, I'll just take the cheapest one, kind of treat it like the New England backfield, which is probably going to be Breida. And I think, that could pay off, in season long leagues, potentially in Dynasty, but realistically, he's got the least value in Dynasty.
Yeah, it's kind of odd because it's like part of me too is like you don't think that they know that they have carbon copies of each other. So it's like, then why did they sign them on? I feel like I almost have to root for the later. Like they know what Jerick McKinnon is. They know what Tevin Coleman is. I mean, as much as we sit around and analyze these players, they've got rooms of people doing more and even more than that. I don't think that the 49ers are stupid and think, oh, really? Tevin Coleman's the same as Jerick McKinnon? We really hadn't thought about that. Oh, wow. Golly gee, guys. Yeah, you're right. Oh, wow. Mistakes were made. Like, I think you almost kind of have to say, well, then what was their faith in Jerick McKinnon? Like, and outside of the injury, I don't know. I'm not seeing him play.
That was the issue is what I'm saying. I think injury was their primary concern.
And maybe it is. But, I think – and maybe because he was so cheap to sign, maybe that was it is just good to have both and just hope, or guarantee yourself lock up that position, I guess. But I don't know. I did the ADP versus Jerick McKinnon, and really like Tevin Coleman versus Jerick McKinnon, it was actually kind of shocking how Tevin Coleman beat out Jerick McKinnon in just about everything but his combine. And because there's very few people that can beat Jarrett McKinnon's combine. Let's be honest there. So and I try, and once again, they're different teams. It's apples and oranges. But I mean, I tried to really like come at this from a lot of different angles. But I agree with Mike here that I think that I'm probably going to end up owning Burita and redraft if I'm targeting anybody, just taking that late flounder, late flyer and Burita, picking him up for peanuts, and just kind of hoping that he gets into it. But no, I mean, I did player game speed, so actually like how fast a person ran with pads on. Tevin Coleman beats him out on that. Tevin Coleman had more yards, even though he had less targets, more touchdowns. I even had a percent of runs. Tevin Coleman beat him out on that. Opportunity ratios. I mean, it was kind of eerie about how one-sided this really was. And so out of the two, I think Tevin Coleman's going to win, but I think it's going to be just a mosh pit. I think it's going to be very similar to like you were saying, or very similar to like almost like the Eagles, where you just don't really know what the heck is going on, and you're just playing a guy and hoping for the best, like, because that's the Eagles.
That's what I think to some degree. And shout out to Hardy Har here in the chat, Brian Har, who shouted out your article, Aton. So kudos to you for that. One of the things that I find really interesting though is that they went and signed Raheem Mostert to a 3-year deal. So
yeah,
in the midst of everything that we're talking about, and I know we touched on McKinnon last week, Gabe, so I don't necessarily want to linger here, but I just find it wildly interesting because we've seen Shanahan be so good so many times with running backs, whether it was his daddy or whether it's him, right? So even though you guys may want the cheapest, maybe the whole risk it, no risk it, no biscuit thing is choosing either Jarek or Tevin and hoping that one of them are the ones that hit. I don't know. I just find the whole thing interesting. It's all very fascinating.
If I must choose, I will choose Tevin out of the two.
I think that's where everybody was landing last week as well.
You've seen Jarrett McKinnon's ADP kind of drop. I mean,
I think you'll eventually want to select Jarek because of that too.
Perhaps.
And that is true. You start getting into, once again, that price. I mean,
right.
I think the only difference between the three is going to be something arbitrary like vision. That's going to be the only separating factor between these three guys. So maybe if just one shows to be a better zone runner in practice, then he's the guy that gets the start. But I mean, I'm right there with everyone.
It could be a nightmare situation where it's game to game. Like you see them come out quarter one and it's like just a smorgasbord. And then next thing you know, whoever just has a hot hand, hope you played them because, they're just going to run and gun like that. I mean, and we've seen that before too. There's been games with Kyle Shanahan to where he just kind of passes around and then finds the guy that he really likes and just, there you go.
Peter Howard also. Peter Howard with another gem here. I've got two things. One from Peter. Peter says, maybe none of them will be good. Which would be so sad. That would be so sad. But very similar to the Eagles last year, right?
What exactly are you missing out on if it's like if it so happens to be the Tevin Coleman or Jarek McKinnon that gets the majority of the work, and like what do we seeing as the majority of the work in
that's the problem. These guys, that's the problem. It's the opportunity cost.
Yeah.
Well, he goes. Okay, so both of them right now go in between like Tariq Cohen and Chris Carson. Now this is Dynasty ADP. I mean, talk about that a little bit.
Cohen 100 times out of 100.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I think for me it was. But I mean, Chris Carson's interesting.
I'd say Chris Carson personally before all three of these guys because I expect Chris Carson to be the starting running back on his team. We've just had the whole conversation about any one of these guys. It could be a day-to-day thing. Plus, just the amount of rushing attempts in Seattle versus the amount of rushing attempts in San Francisco are almost night and day. It's just it's a really tough situation to read, guys.
Brian Harr hit us in the chat as well. He says that Jay Ajayi is meeting with the Colts tomorrow.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh yeah.
So if Jay Ajayi, let's say, just play hypothetical, let's say he does sign in Indianapolis, where does he land for you in places of is he a guy that you're targeting? Does this cause you to fade Mac? How does this cold-blooded?
I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, if he signs the Colts, I'm immediately gobbling up some Marlon Mack. Like, because he is going. Marlon Mack.
Hold on, was Marlon Mack the picture of health? I mean, really? He was last season for parts of last season, but before that, wasn't he injured?
And Jay Ajayi is.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, what's the
16 games.
Neither is Mac. Neither is Mac.
And Mac, but I bet Marlon Mack will play more games than Jay Ajayi, regardless of what team it is. I'll make that bet with you right now.
Ooh.
Yeah,
there's a good chance that me and Jay Ajayi play the same amount of games this year.
Dang,
that's on the table.
And make the same amount of money.
Now, yeah, he'll make a little more money, but I mean, just saying, like, I've never been a Jay Ajayi fan. I just never saw it. And everywhere he goes, he carries this hype and demeans all the other running backs around him because of it. So, if anything, I own zero stock in Jay Ajayi. If Jay Ajayi goes anywhere, I'm buying wherever he goes. I'm buying not him, but everyone else around him that is going to plummet.
If he's going to go to a team, though, the Colts are the team that you want him to go to because that offensive line is absolutely ridiculous.
I remember when they said that about Philadelphia. They're a Super Bowl team. Gotta go.
But wasn't he really productive in Philadelphia before he got hurt?
I mean, I won't know if I played him and felt real strong about it. Like, was he a playable asset? Sure. But I mean, were you sitting there like, oh, plugging him in for sure? Like, I'm pretty sure you kind of like debated between him and some other people on your bench. I mean, I could be wrong. It's been a while since the dude's played. So, I mean, but I mean, and you're talking about dynasty, you're talking about those deteriorating knees and all the other stuff. I don't know. I've never been a big Jay Ajayi truther. I know that they exist. I'm glad that like I had one or two shares of him where I picked him up off the waiver wires when he became a thing at the Dolphins, and I sold, and to one of my friends who's a big Jay Ajayi truther, and I was like, yeah, here you go, buddy, all yours. I'll take your 1-4 or whatever it was. I don't even remember what it was, but it was like, sure. I don't trust, and the other thing is too is it's Philadelphia. I don't trust as a running back. They're the running back committee crew. I can't tell you the last time they really even had a true workhorse running back. I mean, I'm trying to think. I know it's been a few years. Maybe. I mean, for the love of everything, they took DeMarco Murray and threw him in a committee. We all forgot about that, but I didn't. And and then he turns around. I mean, he was the workhorse for Dallas, then goes to the Eagles, falls off a map, and then comes back and becomes the workhorse for a few years for the Titans. And I'm like, if the Eagles are willing to do that with DeMarco Murray, no, I want no part of JJ. It's like, you all can have them. So, I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. I hope the best. I don't want anybody to get injured. That's not the point of this. I hope JJ proves me wrong. But that's my biggest takeaway. Wherever Jay Ajayi goes, I'm buying everybody else.
Yeah, I just a quick point on Ajayi. Like, I think he would, as the backup to Marlon Mack, and probably the backup to Naheem Hines in the passing game, but he would be one of the few backup running backs in the league that legitimately can play on every down. Right. You look back to his college production, and he was like one of my favorite prospects coming out because he caught a million balls in college and just showcased skills in all aspects of the game. And I know that was a long time ago, but he does still have that capability, even if he gets injured all the time. Where, like Eitan said, like running behind that Colts offensive line, potentially catching passes from Andrew Luck, there is definitely, top 12 weekly upside if he got 15 to 18 touches a game in that offense. I think it's very unlikely to happen, but if he's on the waiver wire and he gets signed by the Colts, I think that's a worthy ad over a couple guys. Like, I looked at DLF ADP, and JJ is at 173 right now, which I think may even be a little bit high for me, but he's right ahead of guys like Josh Reynolds, Bryce Love, Deion Kane, Elijah Holyfield, like some of those guys who are, iffy to make your roster at best, just like Ajayi is. But I think Ajayi probably offers more upside of any of those guys that I just listed.
But yeah, and
Totally
I agree
agree.
with that.
Totally
I
agree.
agree with that 100%. The problem I have, though, is as soon as Jay Ajayi signs with the Colts, his ADP will shoot through the roof. He will
I agree.
No longer those people.
If it starts getting towards that like 130-ish range where you have guys like, Tyra Williams and Marquez Valdez-Scantling and TJ Yeldon, then I'm totally out.
Oh yeah, he will if he goes to the Colts, he'll pass Yeldon.
That's the upside though, like you need to buy now for where he's being.
And that's a good point.
The Deion Kane thing. The
upside
is just where he lands, really.
I don't particularly think Marlon Mack is that talented either. Again, it's the Colts situation, so I don't care who the player is. Jai being there, Yeldon being there, any one of these running backs being there. If you are a running back that is good enough to be an NFL caliber player, the Colts is one of the best situations for you in the NFL. You're going to be productive there if you're going to be productive anywhere. So if they sign him, that signals to me this is a team that already has a starting running back, a backup running back, and a pass-catching running back. If they're signing somebody, they're going to sign him to use him. So if that's the case, then, hey, I just want carries behind Nelson. I just want carries behind Quentin Nelson. I don't care who that comes.
Well, and also this, I would be more in favor of, like Gabe said, buy him now, and then when the hype train starts rolling, sell him. If I can turn around and get Jay Ajayi right now for a third or a late second round rookie pick, let him sign with the Colts, and then now I turn that into a first, wherever you want to make that because of the hype train, then that is value. But to me, I'd still be selling them because I agree the Colts are a great landing spot. They're a really great landing spot for a 2020 rookie as well. So I'm not saying that's going to happen. I just don't know if I can sit here and say Jay Ajayi is the future for the Colts. And if I can buy him now for dirt cheap and sell him higher, that is value. I just turned a late second into a first round pick. This is how dynasty teams are made.
Tyler, I know you're doing a series for DLF. I think it's called ADP Breaker that you're going to do. Let's say hypothetical situation. JJ signs with the Colts and has the same ADP as Carlos Hyde. Who are you taking?
Probably Carlos. I think that Carlos has found himself in a better situation. I think that it's very prominent that Andy Reid likes to play one strong running back, and that's actually I talked about. My very first article was a MythBusters for F3 Pod when I first started getting back into writing, and the question was, is Kareem Hunt a special talent? And it wasn't my best piece because I was still just getting back into writing, but I did find out that the average running back for Andy Reid has something like 9.6 touchdowns and 968 yards. That Andy Reid is a big advocate of not really a committee. He likes to pick a dude and run him into the ground. And so I feel like with Jay Ajayi, I'm capped by Marlon Mack. I'm capped by, I don't know if he's going to be the workhorse, where I feel like with Carlos Hyde, he could easily win me a league. Pulling it up right now, it says that, Andy Reid, his average running back for Andy Reid has 939 yards. And this is since he's been, this dates all the way to 1999. 939 yards, 471 reception yards, and 9.5 touchdowns. That means that, and I'm unaware of how many receptions but that means the average running back would score 198 fantasy points in a standard format, giving them running back 10 numbers in 2018. So basically, Andy Reid makes a running back one on average. So I would rather take Carlos Hyde with the ability to basically win my league, have that ceiling. And maybe I do have the floor of Carlos Hyde is second fiddle to Damian Williams. But I would much rather have that and that type of priced player than to have Jay Ajayi, who I think is, no matter what, going to be splitting carries with Marlon Mack and Naheem Hines. I think that's inevitable, and is also injury prone. And Carlos Hyde has some injuries to himself. But if I'm taking that late of a pick, I want somebody that has that boom and bust. This is not my first round pick. This is not my second round pick. These aren't like safe picks. These are deep picks, and I'm looking to win my league with them. So,
yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for. Again, teams are very rarely honest with the public. It's not in their best interest to be honest with the public because they want to get the best deals possible. They're only honest when they spend their money. And again, if they're bringing him in already having all of those running backs on their roster, that means they're going to use him. For me, Carlos Hyde was the best thing that could have ever happened to Damian Williams because Carlos Hyde insulates Damian Williams from any of these second, third round rookies that would come to spoil the party in Kansas City. They already paid Damian Williams. The GM came out and said, hey, Dame Williams is our guy. It's going to be his job to lose. When you look at both of those running backs and compare their pass catching acumen, it's night and day. So if we're just looking for a fit for that offense, an offense that's going to be near the league lead in terms of total passing attempts, I don't think Carlos Hyde is even in the conversation with Damian Williams. If there's an injury to Dame, then of course, anything can happen. But even if there's an injury, then I think you have a combination of Carlos Hyde and the other Williams playing, just because the other Williams will be a better pass catcher than Carlos Hyde. So I don't see the value in choosing a guy like Carlos Hyde behind a worse offensive line in Kansas City. And to me, at least, perpetually going to be in a role where he's splitting carries. We just talked about Jay Ajayi's ability to be a three-down workhorse if given that opportunity. I don't know. I really think that between these two, the upside is definitely with Ajayi because I think Dame Williams is – I think he's going to be a top 15 back this year.
And I didn't want to get into the Damian Williams versus whatever argument. It always kind of comes up, but I just think that I think that and you're not wrong in your school of thought of him being a top 15. I just think that it's going to be either black or white. There's not going to be shades of gray when it comes to Andy Reid's running back. And if I can grab, let's say I grab Williams and Carlos Hyde, I would feel much safer having that combination than having Damian Williams and Jay Ajayi, me personally. Because I feel like, okay, I've got that backfield secured. And I could be wrong.
That's fair.
Maybe I'm more conservative.
And as far as Marlon Mack, I mean, probably a bit obvious and depending on how you feel about him, I guess. You should consider moving on from him that the Colts want an interview at all from Jay Ajayi probably tells you that they're not 100% on Marlon Mack being the dude. So,
well, do you want him or like Derrick Henry? Because Marlon Mack and Derrick Henry are right next to each other.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah, probably Derrick Henry. Weirdly,
that sounds disgusting to say, but that's the choice. Absolutely.
I'd take Mack for what it's worth.
Mack.
All right, Mack or Freeman, because Freeman goes right behind him.
Freeman.
Devontae Freeman?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely Devontae Freeman.
Yeah, agreed.
We used to do this on my podcast. How low will you go? Okay. So what about Kareem Hunt?
How low?
Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt or Marlon Mack?
I want Kareem Hunt because I think Kareem Hunt eventually is going to be the starting running back in Cleveland. I'm there. I said it. Hot take. Love Nick Chubb. I'm sorry.
Were you saying
look, hear me out. If that team is last season, they were the 15th most pass heavy team in the league. Then they went out and they spent capital. They're bringing Odell Beckham's contract on as well. So that shows you that they're shifting to a pass-heavy team. If they're going to shift to a pass-heavy team, between Kareem Hunt and between Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt is the better pass catcher on that team.
They ain't got a pass catch. They got plenty of wide receivers to do that, baby.
They got
tons of them. They don't need nobody else catching.
But if you're gonna have a guy in the backfield and you don't want to tell the defense, you don't want to telegraph what you're doing to the defense, why not have the guy that can do all things well?
Hey, Tom, listen, the Zing One's cam came back on.
Listen, I don't know what
whatever flames you just spit out your mouth.
I'm not going to touch my computer the rest of the
night. Wow.
I really do. I really feel
so hot that I needed to express my reaction, and the little blue dude, it wasn't doing
it. Man,
I mean, yeah. What are your all's thoughts to that? Because I
will gladly buy all of your Nick Chubb. If we were in leagues, send me your Nick Chubb.
I wouldn't draft him. I didn't draft him. I didn't draft him for a reason.
I have not had near enough alcohol. There is no amount.
Zing One, where do you land on that?
Well, to answer Tyler's initial question, I would take Marlon Mack over Kareem Hunt. And in no way, shape, or form do I think. Okay, so Kareem Hunt has obviously legitimate potential and is a legitimate threat to Carlos Hyde's. Sorry, not Carlos Hyde. Jeez, I'm still stuck on that. To Nick Chubb's second half of the season production. I actually wouldn't be taking Nick Chubb in redraft, or I would be taking Nick Chubb in redraft with the intention to sell him around week 4 or 5 before everyone starts freaking out about Kareem Hunt coming back to the Browns and potentially stealing a lot of that either rushing share or receiving share out of the backfield. But yeah, no, I think Nick Chubb is the guy to own in the backfield, both in the short term and long term. I think the Browns, we can actually consider them a smart organization at this point, and took a chance on a guy who, didn't lose any talent overnight. He obviously, had a terrible situation that he was involved in, and, should lose a lot of money for what he did and should lose playing time. And, whatever your thoughts on him being in the NFL or your thoughts on that. But, he's given this chance to the Browns, and I think he's going to perform well in the second half of the season, then move on to another team. And the Cleveland Browns are going to get a compensatory draft pick for holding his rights and using him for a potential playoff run. I think that's an incredibly smart NFL front office move. And then I think that's ultimately what Hunt's role is going to be, is keep Nick Chubb fresh through the second half of the season. Make sure you have a 2 tandem backfield that's just going to cannibalize each other, I think, for the whole second half of the season. It's going to be a mess for fantasy. But I think both could score between 10 and 15 points a game. And that's a backfield you definitely want to own. But no, I don't think Hunt's going to legitimately take over the starting job.
Hey, so in true ADHD fashion here, I have a keeper league, a work league with work keeper. I drafted Saquon with my first round pick, 1/6, 1/7, I don't remember. And I also got Nick Chubb off the waiver wires, which would count for my 8th or 9th round pick. I have to keep one. And it does matter where you draft them. So if I keep Saquon, I do not get a first round pick. But if I keep Chubb, I do not get an 8th round pick.
Yeah, it's just one keeper.
Just one.
Yeah. So I mean, my personal opinion, I would keep Chubb there over Saquon. If it was multiple keeper, I would consider taking Saquon instead. But
I'm agreeing with you, but it makes you vomit.
I would have to keep Saquon. I'd have to keep Saquon. Just in terms of opportunity. I mean, who else is on that team? They have Saquon, Evan Ingram, and Sterling Shepard. If they're going to be able to move the ball on offense, I'm not even going there. They have 3 slot receivers for some reason. I don't understand how this works. But if they're going to move the ball at all, it's going to have to be with Saquon Barkley. So again, he wasn't particularly efficient last year, so it's not even efficiency that we're looking at here. We're just looking at pure volume. If he stays healthy, I just don't see a world in which he's not RB1.
Anyways, starting to get sidetracked, but these are the dilemmas, and I don't have to officially like submit in what I want, but I think I've changed it like 5,000 times. Like I'm like Nick Chubb, no, Saquon, nope, can't throw Saquon into the pool. Like I'm not doing that, and I didn't get last. Like I got like third at that league, so that means that I pick like I don't know 109. So Saquon will definitely not be there. Like there's not a chance. So. No, I mean, whatever. If I throw Saquon, he's to the wolves. I mean, that's done.
That's a good problem to have. I'll say that much.
Well, the year before, I had Antonio Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Todd Gurley, and Ezekiel Elliott. So, and I had to pick one. Woe was me. That was also one that you just like flipped between. I finally landed obviously on Gurley, but it was just like, what is this garbage? I think I had the biggest push for like, what can we make this a 4-man keeper? Is there any way that we could like, I don't know. Everybody was like, no, we know that's what you asked for. Absolutely.
The with like our current teams right now.
Yeah. Just right now. Let's just do it. Just right now.
Let's just it's dynasty officially.
I'm Eitan. I don't know if Sam is ever going to accept you back on diagnostics.
I mean, have you told Sam this?
You haven't, have you told him? That's the better question.
We've already fought about Baker. I think this is going to be next episode's fight.
That was like no. Baker's nothing compared to you.
It's over.
We just watched Daddy slap mommy at the dinner table. Like that's literally like the word of all. Just keep eating your peas, honey. Daddy just got mad, and mommy said something she shouldn't have said, and we're all just like,
"Hey, man, if you're gonna pass all day, you put the guy in the backfield that can pass catch. That's all."
Where is
with Kunt's 8-game suspension, where would you take him in like a redraft league if you're gonna?
Oh, in a redraft league, you can't take him because he's already gone for most of the fantasy season. So, like, what's the point of having that guy just take up a roster spot for 8 weeks? But in a dynasty,
because Nick Chubb took up a roster spot for 7 weeks before he was usable.
And again, that would be another guy that I wouldn't touch because look, I'm trying to get to the playoffs. When I get to the playoffs, I want the best team there, but my goal first and foremost is to get there in the first place. If I'm going to have a guy that's going to get me 0 points for most of my fantasy season, because again, an NFL season is 16 games, a fantasy season is 13 games. If he's going to be gone for most of my season, there's just no point to having him sit on the roster, even if he's going to be one of those late game league winners, because what you can do is you can, around week 6, around week 7, maybe 2 or 3 weeks out, try to get him then.
It also depends on roster size too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that would definitely play a role as well.
As we finish up here, that's a take that we needed Fuego Frank.
Oh my gosh,
that is.
I felt like I was all right, guys. Let's huddle around the fire. Come on in, like.
Right.
Eitan just gave us some of that Cali sun right there. That was heavy.
No avocado.
Gosh.
I love the support I'm getting. I really do. I really appreciate it, guys.
Right now, according to redraft, Kareem Hunt is going around like Jamal Williams. Yeah, he's the 10th round according to Fantasy Football Calculator, which whatever. But in redraft ADP is a mess right now. I mean, obviously, but I mean around like the Foreman, Jamal Williams, Deion Lewis. So I mean, that'd be fun. Obviously, we're talking about round 10. I mean, yeah, sure. If I got the roster spot, I mean,
yeah, but in round 10, you're probably turning down picking a receiver. There's going to be somebody out there that's still.
Dede Westbrook, Deshaun Jackson, Adam Humphries,
Dede.
King
Dede. Yeah, Dede. Curtis Samuel's there. Yeah, I think I'd probably grab some Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, agreed.
I like me some Curtis, maybe.
Gabe, listen. I'm still in the afterglow right now. Gabe, you're gonna have to.
The moment he said that, I started looking at the last workhorse for the Philadelphia Eagles because that one bothered me. Like I didn't even start thinking about the Chubb thing. I was like, I don't want to waste my energy on that.
I will not associate with this debauchery.
I'm sorry. I know. I realize, well beloved Chubb. I get it. I'm sorry. I take it back.
Well, I mean, you just tried to kill our whole brand here.
Hey, I mean, open mic will tell you. I went on before Chubb was. We did an open mic about last year, and I said that Chubb was my 102. But Chubb's always been my dude for a while now. That one. Oof.
I wish Kareem Hunt would have gone anywhere else. I'll say that.
And he said he couldn't catch passes. Did you hear him say that?
Oh.
Hey! He can't catch passes as well as Kareem Hunt can. Not that he can't catch passes.
We're just gonna snip that part out.
Yeah, and, he can't catch at all.
Oof.
That is at FF _1.
You're gonna start dogging Cooper Kupp, and I'm just gonna log out. Like
we're done. That's happening.
Just out skis. I'm not gonna be associated. I have multiple teams where I own Cooper Kupp and Chubb, and I think I have some kind of parody name for all of them, like one Chubb, one Kupp, or something. I don't know, just some weird stuff going on.
I have changed my Twitter information countless times, and the only thing that has remained this entire time is my location is and will always be right smack dab in the middle of Start Cooper Kupp every week street, all the time, forever.
Are you trying to get back in Tyler's good graces or something?
That's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, he's
pandering.
You drafting that coconut right now?
I'm physically sweating. Like I feel like somebody just spit on my tagalongs. Like they just open up the bag and just spit on them.
I'm really happy we had this conversation because now I know what to write about tonight. So now you guys will see an article proving why I believe
like
that
fiction.
This is gonna work.
Proving.
Proving.
Irrefutable proof.
Wordplay.
Irrefutable proof.
Proving.
Irrefutable proof that is your thought. On you.
I will provide you straight, improvable stuff about my opinion.
Hey man, that's the best kind. It's the best kind.
That is true.
Well, I look forward to it, and I will scowl the entire time reading it.
Yeah,
I'll even give you the face on it. That's me scrolling right there.
Oh man, if there were downvotes on Twitter, I can't imagine how many.
Like I'm talking about like the face of an itchy butthole, like just awful. Like you just
That's nasty. Gabe, give
all
us.
right, that's enough, Tyler.
Yeah,
no more itchy buttholes, okay?
We can't end on that, guys. Come on.
Yep.
Man.
So that's it for the open bar. Sorry, yeah, Michael, is that cool? Was that up next, or did Tyler have something to say after itchy buttholes?
No, that was where it ended.
That's what I thought.
No.
Okay. So
everybody's gonna be like, "Hey, how do I follow that one guy at the very end?"
Tyler, I will give you one chance for redemption. We are saying goodbye to everyone. I
mean, how do you redeem from that? Like, what? I mean, what?
I don't know. Maybe a Twitter handle change. You could probably hit up the old the gee itch. You got itch gee. Itchkey.
Oh my god, that actually sounds like a real thing.
Itchkey.
It sounds like something somebody went to school nurse for.
Preparation.
I got the itch.
I got the itch.
I'll tell you this: if I get it and I beat it, instantly makes me stronger.
That's true.
Just like Ebola.
That's true.
That's full circle, people.
Full circle. Just like a good comedian, you got to bring it back. You got to bring it back. That first joke, you got to tie it in.
Gee, where can the people find you? Where can they find your work? All the good stuff.
You can find me at Tyler Gee NFL. And all my writing as of right now is on DLF football. So I got a nice little page, and if you go to my Twitter, my little link, it just takes you right to all my articles. Right now, I've only got about 4 or 5 up, but I've only been at DLF for going on a month now, and I've written about 6 papers. So I've been hitting and getting. I think tomorrow, actually, it drops a Anthony Miller versus Christian Kirk versus Donta Pittis.
Let's go.
And just evaluating those 3. They actually go right next to each other, pretty much an ADP. Both are, second-year wide receivers. So going to be a good read. It was a fun paper to write. I found out a lot. And then I'm doing one right now, Mike Williams versus Chris Godwin. That's finishing up. So I try to do these ADP breakers like Mike kind of talked about, just kind of breaking down ADP, future production, value versus production. And then I've also been doing a Mythbuster series. I did a Mythbuster series on like James White and Sony Michel, like that type of thing. And I got a lot of noise on that one. But
yeah,
it was
fell off my desk.
Well, okay.
Oh, I thought that corresponded perfectly with like a noise actually occurring in my background that I thought you heard.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's me. I've just been writing. No more podcasting for me. Just doing all that. So pass the torch.
Well, you sound great on the podcast tonight, pal.
Well, thank you, Mr. Beauregard.
The chosen one.
That's me. So
yeah, I wasn't sure if we lost.
I'll wrap up. No, I'm good. Yeah, so I'm Michael Zingoni, the chosen one at FF Zinger. Hit me up there. I am pretty frequently on Twitter. I like to share a lot of my work. I've been doing a lot of stuff with the NFL Scrapper. I've been working in Python, trying to do some data visualization analytics there. I write for DLF and FF Statistics. Try to really incorporate a lot of cool, unique ideas into all the articles that are right there. Mostly doing NFL draft coverage right now and focusing on rookie prospects and good offseason targets. So yeah, follow me on Twitter, interact with me anytime, and happy to have joined you guys here tonight.
Yeah, first time bar goer. Thanks for coming on, man. Fix your damn Wi-Fi. We'd like to see your beautiful face a little bit more often, but will you come back? Do you promise?
Absolutely, I will.
All
yeah,
right.
I don't know what really happened with my camera, but the real ones who stuck out through the blue screen really got to see my face shine at the end.
The real ones. Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to the real ones.
Shout out to J Mike. Stop talking. Get your stupid boy off of the screen.
Look, man, I just needed to make sure that Guy knew where I stood with his article. I'm excited to read it. And yeah, that's all. I mean, no big deal. No, nothing. Just keep it moving. Keep it moving.
No bias here. There's no one he's expecting to come out winning.
Huh.
Hey, I'm a Bears fan, so
yeah. All right, Eitan, the Wonder Kid, who is no longer the Wonder Kid, because for one, you actually changed the handle, but for two, you are siding with Kareem Hunt over Nick Chubb. So
yeah, he's the wandering kid.
How's that for
wondering
proof,
where is he coming from?
Oh man, I feel like I'm not gonna live this one down. I actually said I said in a Dynasty startup I'd pick Cooper Kupp over Julio Jones as well.
All right,
and I'm sure I'm gonna get some hate from there.
Just say your handle and get out of here.
We just figured out how I got topped. So we'll end on that. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
My butthole itches. Let me get out of here. Come on,
man. You just couldn't let it die.
My name is Eitan Mozia. You can find me a few places. I've kind of been guesting on a few pods from recently, but you can find me at the home, which is the Service Center, Dynasty Diagnostic Service Center. It's a podcast that I do with my good friend Sam Lane. You can find him at FF Stompy. We break down a roster every week, break down Dynasty roster. Another thing that we've tried to do is to bring in some really I guess, progressive voices in the Dynasty community to kind of break down some rosters with us. So please go ahead and check that out. If you want to read my written work, you can find that at a couple of different places. First of those is going to be Fantrax HQ. You can also find me at Fantasy Pros. So if you are interested in Dynasty at all, that is all you're going to see on my feed. So I really do appreciate being on the open bar for the second and probably last time because Kareem Hunt over Nick Chubb.
That's how you go out with the bang, though. And also, real quick, if your mom named you Saison or Shaitan, then I'm gonna call you Saison or Shaitan. I'm just gonna throw that.
There we go. You're the first. My own girlfriend, who's been with me for 13 years, won't do it. Like, she hasn't once even tried. So
I like that.
I appreciate it.
Years.
I love that.
13 years. 13 years. Long time.
How long have I been married?
Old man Gee.
Oh,
you sit on that, Tyler.
Yeah.
Am I the elder statesman of this class? We have messed up. If so, surely not.
No, it's me. It's me. It's okay.
All right.
I'm
Frank Gore.
I've definitely been married the longest. Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
You're Frank Gore. I'm LaShawn McCoy. That's fine.
Yes, that's about right.
Bill's back, Bill.
that was your Eagles workhorse, by the way. That was your last Eagles workhorse.
LaShawn McCoy.
LaShawn McCoy. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, he was so good.
Because everybody knows when you have a lot of passing weapons, you need to use a passing running back like the Bills do with LaShawn McCoy.
I just wasn't aware the Bills had a quarterback.
Don't bite, J. Mike. Just say what you want to say, and then we can leave.
To everyone who joined us in the chat, thank you so much. The chat was lit tonight, Gabe. And again, I'm incredibly glad that in the second quarter, as we enter the second quarter of 2019, that you do actually acknowledge the chat's existence. People are pretty thrilled about that. Twitter has been abuzz about it. I've even seen it trending on Twitter. People are really thrilled about the fact that you acknowledge that it exists. Mm-hmm. So everyone in the chat, thank you guys. We appreciate you. You are the lifeblood of this show. Similar to what Gabe used to say all the time, we cannot do this show without you guys. We appreciate you and your witty banter there. To our guests, Eitan, the Zing One, Gee, we appreciate you guys immensely. Always good being with you guys again. See, and this is why you need, if you're listening to this in podcast form, this is exactly why you need to be able to view us 9:30 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube to see Gee give you the duck lips, the kissy face, blow you kisses. I mean, really send you to bed the right way.
I'm basic, man. Apples and bananas, baby. Hit me.
Whether you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, whatever other podcast catcher that you have, or even on Spotify, you can check us out there. Shout out to everyone at Fake Pigskin for putting us on. Shout out to the Cricket that keeps showing love over at Eitan's house. He's the star of.
I'm gonna burn this house down. Like there's nothing else I can do at this point.
Kareem Hunt will outdo Nick Chubb. Come here, Jiminy.
Stupid Cricket co-signing.
I feel like one of you guys sent this over here just because of that.
Bro,
I'm really upset.
You know who
finally heard it?
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, I'm here right now. Yeah.
But with all that said, again, we appreciate everyone listening. Maybe Gabe next week. I was thinking about this. Obviously, with our wonderful store, the openbar.storeenvy.com, maybe just maybe we can go about giving a shirt away next week of a listener's choice with all the options that we have. What do you think about that?
I like that a lot. I think other shows give away shirts, so it seems like something that we should do.
Here's a fad.
Great. And before I pass to you to close real fast, just in my very soft response to the Thin Mints that you got to eat the other week.
Okay.
My wife hooked it up. Some tag-alongs. Mm-hmm. Just want to let back up, Gee. These are my tag-alongs, not yours.
Are they frozen?
Not your tag-alongs. They are not. I haven't had time for that.
Tag-alongs.
I came home and
that's okay.
But team tag-alongs, I just want you to.
Sometimes you can't wait. You know what I'm saying? I always when I get some tag-alongs, I buy one box for the car, like just the ride home, like because one box ain't gonna make it.
Tyler, he's trying to crunch right now. Be quiet.
Oh.
That's the sound of heaven meeting my tongue.
Bit of a
Gabe.
wheat crunch.
There needs to be some smooth jazz playing in the background right now.
Oh, excuse me for not having the artificial enhancements of the freezer with the Thin Mints. Excuse me. Gabe,
he's
take us home.
It's not illegal, man.
Not like them M-berries.
You're acting like it's steroids, or that I popped some M-berries before I had my Thin Mints. I'm just gonna kind of echo everything that J Mike has said. Thank you to each and every one of you listening, joining us live or on the next day. We appreciate y'all. And shout out to Aton coming in kind of last second for us, and also Tyler, because just making, I don't know what, making the effort to be here. And Michael, you did great, but
shout out to me for having no life and not having a product movement.
Michael was waiting at 6:30 Eastern, just like at the front of the computer, like, come on, guys. No, shout out to all three of y'all, and J Mike, you're my dude. I love you. Thank you for being with us every week, and we're coming back next week, right? Is that true?
Only if J Mike trades me Mike Evans.
I don't know if you heard that, but the cricket actually just chirped no. So
right. I did hear that as well. Can confirm. Did hear that.
But we do have a show next week. It's gonna be scout heavy, and it's gonna be a very good way to follow up what was an absolutely fantastic week this week. I really hope our guests next week bring it, but the scouts will be in heavy doses, so you guys will not want to miss that.
You never know what we're gonna draft. J Mike mentioned the store. I'll mention Fake Pigskin. Shout out to them for doing everything for us, giving us a platform and things. I write podcast intros. I've been doing a lot of those over spring break, and I hope I can finish them all, but I don't know if I can, but we'll see what happens. All right. Drinks up, or just a fist, or something that you'd like to cheers to that camera of ours, or to the listeners, to the viewers, whatever it may be. Cheers to you, Mar friends. We're going to see y'all next week. And deuce.